If you wish to be an effective scientific thinker, you need to resist the urge to create a story. We love stories as humans. We love narrative. And in the case that we can create a very coherent narrative in our observations of the world around us, whether they be human psychology, nutrition science, medical science, etc., it's much easier to communicate those findings and to take those findings and tie them in with the rest of our broader worldview. But that's not scientific thinking. That is storytelling. Where the two blend, fantastic. But very often, they simply won't blend. And that's the realities of the complexities of our world. You can see this in multiple different areas. If we take the standard diet camps, let's say, carnivore dieters will conveniently find evidence to suggest that all plant foods are bad, or that all sources of carbohydrates are bad, or that all fats that aren't found in animal foods are bad, and that everything found in animal fats and animal foods generally are good. Isn't that convenient? That whole story just happens to piece together, and that all of those facts happen to be coherent with their broader view of the world. It's a bit too convenient. And vegans do this too, sometimes a lot worse, where conveniently they will find that eating a plant-based diet makes everything better and eating an animal-based diet makes everything worse. And where you're finding that two polar opposites are both delivering the exact same message, that my diet makes everything better, their diet makes everything worse, and vice versa, you should be very skeptical. Another example that we see in the realm of the social sphere would be some claims related to feminism, for example. And the claims exist on the opposite side as well. But a classic example is trying to take observations of, let's say, male psychology or male behavior, male mating preferences, etc., and to fit them into a coherent worldview that says these behaviors are an attempt to repress women or to suppress women or to hold them back in some way. When in fact these findings are coherent with evolutionary psychology and neurobiology and the role of testosterone in shaping the male brain. We can look at those findings independently and say that they may have socially undesirable effects in some cases, but that does not mean there's a grand agent that is determining certain things as being good or bad and placing them within the world accordingly. That's something that you need to be very careful of, because when we start to find inconvenient facts in science or observations in science, and we don't want those to be true, we try to suppress them. And we know that's true from publication bias in various fields in science, in things like p-hacking, where people will attempt to find some sort of correlation that fits with their hypothesis. And this is where we begin to move into an understanding of the world that is convenient and comfortable, but untrue. And all of us do this, right-wing, left-wing, carnivore, vegan, pick your polarized camps. You will find the way that those people in those camps take observations from the world and try to either push them to the side if they don't fit, or pull them into a convenient worldview that makes them feel comfortable. If you're going to be an effective scientific thinker, you need to get comfortable being uncomfortable with your observations or with what you're reading. You can't just push it to the side and say, oh God, that's triggering, that's not comfortable, that's not what we want to be true. Because the world doesn't owe you anything. The world doesn't owe you a truth that is comfortable. You can try to find truth. It's a very difficult thing to come by, and that's why science is such a beautiful discovery or method. But don't expect that to be easy. Don't expect the development of a scientific cognitive apparatus to be a comfortable process, because it's not.